How's everyone doing today? This is Fiddlermeister here. Draft in your a little bit of leniency drafting any players so you're not for sure on who to get. Be perfect in how you do things. But for general consent, one or two 75 overall rated players, decided to pick the Bills, send it from like week 12 on, and just picked up a couple players, traded them away, and a lot of games so I could get a little bit higher draft picks. So keep that in mind. I'm going to be having a little bit higher draft picks to start off with, so more take it with a grain of salt. So anyway, as we can see here, I have Drew Brees as my quarterback, along with LaShawn McCoy. But overall, the offensive line's looking pretty bland as it goes. Charles Clay, man, he's only a 79 overall. He must have hit a rock bottom point in his life. But yeah, Jordan Matthews over there and Zay Jones aren't really helping out my man Drew Brees. So we'll probably get some wide receivers to start off with. And geez, man, secondary and the linebacker core is looking probably worse off than them. Definitely a reason why we've probably only won like 7 or 6 games to start off the season with. So we'll probably stay away from some defensive tackles and ends as well, but we'll probably look to get some secondary members if possible. I haven't really looked at this year's draft class, so hopefully it's something to uh, be desirable. So to start off, we're going to begin drafting, but I'm going to pause the draft so we can look over everyone who we've gone for. All right, so we have the number one overall pick. Didn't honestly expect that. I don't think I drafted for it. I believe. Well, no, maybe I did. Maybe I did. Maybe I already had the pick to begin with. All right. So to begin off, I'll tell you all the draft order that I usually go in whenever I'm scouting players, and then we can go from there. So we'll make our selection. So whenever I'm going to scout players, generally go for quarterbacks first, even if I do need one, just because I'll be able to stock up on them or trade them away if needed. If I already have like a very good starting quarterback, I'll just stick with them. Or if they're getting older, I'll just, trade them off for some more draft picks, and then I can have a better team. I'd say that's my one problem with this game is just keeping a player for a little bit too long, longer than he needs to be there. Because after all, football is a business, and not every player can be Tom Brady and stick with the same team until they're 40, because it's just not how it works. Honestly, these programs don't last out as long as something like that needs to occur. But yeah. Anyway, I digress. So quarterback, you'll want to the very first uh, scouting trait, which is throw power. It's really hard to increase. So as long as they have around, let's say, a B plus in throw power, I would say draft them. Anything below that, they're almost worthless. You're not going to find a guy with B throw power or like a B plus short throw accuracy. So as long as they have a B plus or better, you're fine. Looks like we'll probably have to go with I'd say Rashad Carter, Chandler Wheeler, or even Will Shelton. I saw a draft story or two on him, and he's looking pretty promising. Probably stay away from Chip Davenport, even though he has that A throw power, which is very nice. But probably stick with these three guys here. I'll mark them for y'all, just in case they so happen to be held off in the later rounds. Probably won't draft them first, just because we have Drew Brees, but definitely something to look at. But for next in scouting, we're going to want to go to left outside linebackers or just outside linebackers in general. We'll want to scout all these guys because we can also use them as a defensive end if needed and just place them there. These guys seem to always be stacked every single draft class. Their combine grades are out the wazoo. They're always high up there, and generally you'll find a lot of guys in the first round. Unlike here, which most of these guys are in the second round, which isn't very promising, and you see a lot of red right in here. Don't like that whatsoever. Some are even expected to go undrafted, but I wasn't able to get a lot of these scouted just because the draft didn't look as good as I had hoped, and because we didn't really need someone at left outside linebacker. We do need someone, it looks like, at right outside linebacker, but as you can see with that, there really wasn't anyone else over here. We might go with Jason Warner. He's looking very good with that block shedding trait, which on outside linebackers, the main trait you want to look for is block shedding and power moves. As long as they have around a B to a B plus for block shedding, that's really good. So, and unfortunately, right in here, you can only see power moves. Pursuit, that's a decent trait to have. Not totally needed, but it's nice to look at. And hit power is really kind of a trait that's just, again, nice to have. It's not an end all be all. It's great if your guy's a great power, um, great tackler, can really hit hard, but it's about as useful as having jumping on a wide receiver. Sure, it's nice, but at the end of the day, as long as he can catch the ball, it's good. But yeah, Jason Warner's looking like the only decent player we'd want to take here outside linebacker, so we'll mark him as well. So yeah, after quarterback, then outside linebackers, we'll go to the safeties. So strong safety and free safety. We're needing a free safety definitely, and lo and behold, we don't really have anyone. The main traits you're going to look for on safeties are zone coverage and pursuit. Pursuit being a big one, concerning that they're very far away from the defensive line, and they're going to be needing to make tackles if a runner gets to the outside. So if we're looking here, it's not a very strong free safety class, so we can also get a strong safety and just convert them over to a free safety if needed. So, like on here, this guy right here, Sanchez Sanford, very good player. He's a 7.3 combine rating, so that's very good. Combine grades are kind of a they're not an end all be all stat. They're very nice to look at and have. You can kind of get an idea of how physical of a player they are. If they're fast, that's great, but they can't get by on just speed alone, even though speed kills in this game. They have to have decent stats to go along with it. So if they don't have great speed to go along with their stats, that's okay, because you'd rather have great stats like zone coverage and man coverage than just 99 speed. But if they do have 99 speed, I'd say they're more likely to be in a better position to make good plays and have a higher overall rating as long as they have zone coverage and man coverage rather than just speed. So we're probably going to draft Sanchez Sanford to start off, because you don't really get a lot of free safeties or strong safeties that have very high combine. Oh my God, that guy's really good. He has the fastest 40-yard dash time in the draft, so we're definitely going to pick him probably number one overall if I had to guess. But yeah, if you see a guy that has at least like a B minus zone coverage and then like a B minus pursuit, definitely go ahead and get them. So it looks like that guy might have it, but no one else really has in the draft. So we'll look at Perry Thornton as well. He might, he's a little on the slow side, but that's all right. So on next, we want to go the whole offensive line. After the quarterback, then the outside linebackers, strong safeties, and free safeties. At left tackle, we had a decent draft with them. Not the greatest, but all right. The one thing you're going to want to look at is obviously pass and run block. Pass blocking being the more, if your quarterback's right-handed, that is. If your quarterback is right-handed, you want the left side of your line to be more pass blocking effective, and your right side to, well, pass blocking also, but more so towards the run blocking if you need to run away from the quarterback. But left tackles, you want to be the strongest, so you're going to want to look at the bottom at bench reps, and you're going to want them to at least have, well, preferably around 35, 33, 34 reps. So yeah, see right there, that guy's all green stats, and that's another telltale sign. If the guy's got a high draft grade, that's great, but if he's definitely good in every single aspect, you might want to get him overall. And plus, we see that guy's got, man, this online franchise mode really messes things up on here with the grades. They'll like be thrown out of place and you won't see the combine grade. But yeah, so we're probably going to be going with probably Kobe Shepard. No, wait, not Kobe Shepard. Chandler Harding. Even though he has a C run block, we can definitely get that up. And he's just greens all across the board, so that's also promising. But he has that high bench press, which shows your strength as well as the broad jump. So this guy's probably definitely the strongest guy in the whole draft class, more likely. Unless there's a defensive tackle, that's better. But you'll want at least like a B minus across the board for the stats on left tackles, probably B's for left guards, B minuses for centers, B minuses for right guards, and then at least a B on one of the stats for right tackle. Not so much on the impact blocking for any of those guys, but the pass blocking and run blocking are the two most important stats. You want at least like 33 bench press for the left guard and center, and then 30s for the rest of the guys. But strength is, again, kind of like speed for the impact players. It's just for linemen, it's the end all be all, and that's kind of what you want. So left guard, the only one that we really might want is, well, decent talent for the most part. I had Houston Utech, if that's how you say his name, marked because he was in the draft news, which is in the news feed right above the stat sheet on your guys. So that guy, and maybe even that guy, he's a high combine grade. Oh wow, 39 reps. He's actually stronger than the left tackle. We might actually get him. He's a sixth rounder, so he might actually be able to do something. Heck, that guy too. He's got good run blocking, okay, pass blocking. I mean, we'll mark him, why not? But like I said, as long as you have about semi sort of at least B's in two of the categories, you're very okay to get them. This guy has A minus impact block and B run block, so he might be okay. Yeah, he's a little on the weak side, not too bad on strength, but we'll probably have better luck with J.J. Darman and Grant O'Sullivan. Centers, I bet this guy right here. I'll have to cut this short because my buddy's wanting to talk to me.